Hey YouTube, this is Dan, and I decided I wanted to mix things up a little bit today with my videos. So I'm going to give you a drawing tutorial for on the computer on how to draw Ghostface from the Scream movies, because if you haven't already heard, Wes Craven is currently working on a 4th film. So the program I'm going to be using is Photoshop Creative Suite 4. Extended version, but of course you can really do this in Photoshop, you can do this in GIMP, you can do this in Paint, you can do this in Paint.net, you could probably even do it in some form of a caveman program, but I already mentioned Paint, so that's pretty much out of the way. So what you want to do is you just want to create a new image in Photoshop. It can really be any size depending on how big you plan to draw and stuff. I'm doing 1268 by 720 at a resolution of 72 pixels per inch with 8-bit color, background white, and I'm just going to call this Ghostface. So what you want to do first is you want to make sure that you have your foreground color set to black for the sake of drawing. So you're going to switch to the brush tool, and you're just going to want to make a sort of like an skewed type heart shape. I'm going to show you what I mean, because it's kind of difficult to describe the actual shape of Ghostface's head. And if you're doing this like I am with a mouse, you want to be extra cautious of what you're doing. And this tutorial will also work with traditional pen and paper. So after you've got your little skewed type heart shape, we're going to fill in these two little lines here, which are the layering of his face. Then of course you're going to put in a mouth. If you remember Ghostface, he's iconic with Halloween. He's got this really long, open, agaped mouth. Just fill that. Alright. And then you're going to make like two bean type shapes, or two long ovals for the eyes. I found it'll work either way with the bean shaped eyes or with the oval shaped eyes. I'm more preferential to do the bean shaped eyes whenever I'm conscious of it. Then you want to just bring up a line from about where you started this, maybe a little lower, and you just want to whip it up and over the head to about midpoint. Bring a second line down off of that. We're starting to create the cloak. Do another to about midpoint, and then a third one down, or fourth one down, and you've got the rough Ghostface. Now what you want to do is you want to click onto the paint bucket. Keeping the color black, you're just going to fill in the two eye spots, the mouth, and the cloak. At this point you've drawn Ghostface, but there's always a few little fun things you can always do to perk up your drawing a little bit more. For example, my favorite thing to do is I always love to go back to the paintbrush tool and just bring up a straight line that's pointed at the end, little line down the middle, so it's almost like a dagger. Then using the Control Plus option on Windows, I'll usually zoom in. I will switch to a smaller version of the standard brush, even 1 pixel is good, and I'll draw a little stream, which you can then fill in with red, and you fill in the knife with a shade of gray. And when you zoom back out, it looks like he's holding a little bloody knife. That's always a fun little thing. If you want to get even more into it, you could take a black line across the back. Again, something I enjoy doing with a thin thing. And you can fill that with really any color you want. In this case, I'm going to do it in a greenish color. Actually, no, I'm not going to do it in a greenish color. That looks too outdoorsy. I'm going to do it in blue. Then I'm going to go back to the brush. I'm going to bring it back up to like a 12. It's a little thicker than we did Ghostface in. And make sure you switch the color back to black. And I'm just going to draw like one of those half circle rugs. Because of the fact that this is being done on the computer with a mouse, I'm not going to fight about doing an intricate design, and I'll just make it a couple of circles for the rug. And then you'll want to fill those in with a color. For this, I'm going to do yellow, and then I'm going to do the outer rim in a green. Make sure you get all the parts of that. And then over here with the wall, go back to your brush. You can keep it at a 12, you can thin it, you can make it larger, whatever you want. Make sure you remember to revert to black. And I'm going to draw in a window. Now when you draw in a window, some people would instantly think to do this. But a trick I found that works even better, and it gives you a little added opportunity, is make a line about that long, like that, and then go like that. Do the same thing from the bottom, down and up, down and up. And then make a second square around the first. Then switch your color to a dark brown. And you can fill that in and make a window. Then go back to a one brush. I like to zoom in whenever I use the one. By default, I zoom in. Scroll up. Draw a couple of things here. Number one, make sure you're back to black. I like to draw a line, you know, to mix that up, to divide these two, and I love to do a crescent moon. Then you can zoom back out. Get your fill tool. Pick a really dark green. Really the darkest one you can find. And if you can't find one that's dark enough, then you can actually play with it to make it darker. Because we want to create a sense of night. You'll want your black for the fill. Yellowish moon out in the night sky. And then finally, to give it one last added touch, with like a 5 brush or so, I like to draw a door in the room. And always make sure you revert back to black. sure you revert to black. I'm trying to remember the keyboard shortcut to tell you for that. You can always just click and drag down. It's a long day. So then you would just draw a line going up, over, and down. I like to put a Nightmare on Elm Street type window up at the top. And then maybe draw some sort of a design on your door. For me, I've always loved the two-panel look. And then finally, a circle for your doorknob. Again, grab your filler, go with the brown. Boom, 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 oop. Control-C. Find where you missed. The exact spot you missed. For me, it's right there. Switch back to black. Then head back to your brown. Your filler. There we go. Grab like a golden for the doorknob. And even though I put that nice intricate design in, then fill in the night sky. Black. And then finally, I mean, if you really wanted to do a Nightmare on Elm Street door, you could really do that, but actually that looks a little better in my mind. And then finally, do some sort of a coloring for the walls. And there you have a perfect, well, not necessarily perfect because it was me, but like, there you have a drawing of Ghostface from Scream. This has been Dan for the Hollywood Lights 1992 channel. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will try and get back on track with tech and entertainment soon. Until next time, this is Dan signing off.